Oh, you good?
Is Jonathan back there?
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Scored here. Kept trying to turn it on.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Go ahead and start. Do you have a public participation card?
Do not.
Good evening, everybody. Today is Thursday, October 13th, and it is now time to start the informational meeting for the Warrensville Heights City School District. Dr. Rock, would you please call the roll?
Mrs. Elba?
Here.
Ms. Mitchell?
Here.
Mrs. Moomin?
Here.
Mr. Freeman?
Here.
Mrs. Gator?
Here. Would everybody please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm going to move right along to the agenda. Item 1.4 is the approval of the agenda. Mr. Jolly, do we have any changes to the agenda today?
No, ma'am, there's no changes to the agenda.
All right. Member Elba, you mentioned that you had some things that you wanted to add. Would you like to make a motion to add these items?
No, they're all old business. There is, everything that I wanted to discuss is considered old business, so I don't have to add it, because we already have old business on the schedule from the organizational.
Okay, no, that's not correct. According to our board policy, we do need a motion to add items to the agenda. We do have unfinished business on the agenda, but not old business.
Okay, unfinished old business is all the same, so.
It really isn't.
Yes,
You know what? First, what I'd like to do, I'm going to ask Member Mitchell to review parliamentary procedures a little bit.
Sure. On Board Policy 0161, it states parliamentary authority governing the Board of Education shall be the most recent edition of Robert's Rules of Order, newly revised in all cases in which it is not inconsistent with statute, administrative code, or these bylaws. And if you go to, excuse me, the reference that we went to was Webster's New World Robert's Rule of Order. On page 15, items 5 and 6, it very clearly states what unfinished business is. Unfinished business is a motion that is under discussion at the time that the previous meeting adjourned. A general order is a motion that was postponed to the current meeting but not made a special order. If members are going to proceed to new business, it must be proposed an issue that is new to this meeting. It may be something not discussed before or something that was defeated at a past meeting or even in the last meeting. And then on, excuse me, on page 16, it goes on to say, the term old business can be confusing and it should not be used because the terms that should be used are unfinished business, pending means, or either special orders.
All right. Does that clear it up for everybody? It's not old business, it's unfinished business. And unfinished business is business that we did not finish from the meeting before. So the items that you're referring to are items from, I don't know when, Member Elba. So I'm
Well, let
giving.
me just say this.
Hold
Everybody
on.
at this table is sitting here talking
Member
about.
Elba,
that
I
they-
have the
You
floor.
just asked the question.
Point of
I
order,
have the
please.
floor.
Okay,
Point
you
of
asked
order,
the
please.
question.
And I have the
Please.
floor. So
Ask
give
the
me
question.
1 minute and I will
Okay.
let you
Thank
speak.
Go right ahead.
The items that you listed, the 7 items that you listed, 6 items, are they from the previous meeting?
They're from previous meetings, of
Okay.
course they are.
So at this point, what I would like to offer for you, so that you can get your items on the agenda, is to make a motion to have your items added. So would you like to make a motion to have
Sure,
your...
we can make a motion, and I would hope that since everybody's sitting up on this, at this table is talking about that they're for the kids, that you would not deny anybody's child or parent to be here and be represented, because these are the people that put you in office. So, sure, we can go ahead and we can add, I'm talking, excuse me.
I haven't said a word. I have my hand
Sure,
up.
we would like to add the facilities, the programs, parent involvement, and the policy. Sure, those can be added, motion, however you guys want to do it. So it'll be said one way or the other, here at the meeting, or we can do it other kind of ways. It makes me no difference. I'm not going to argue with you guys tonight. Either you're here for the parents and for the kids, or you want to deny the motions and say no. Makes me no difference.
Madam Chair, may I please speak?
Yes, you may.
Just so that the audience understands, when you follow Robert's Rules of Orders, it helps the meetings maintain a flow instead of it being chaos. We've adopted Robert's Rule of Orders as our board policy to follow so that our meetings can be fluid, so that we can take care of the business of our scholars. We are not here for self-fulfillment. We are not here for self-promotion. We are here because we feel a passion to help this district move forward so that we can do all that can be done to help these children with academic achievement. We are not here to argue. We're not here to be confrontational. And the reason that we brought these points up this evening is because we continue to deal with unnecessary confusion during the board meetings where we're coming in to try to do business on behalf of the scholars. It's very clearly stated, and it's asked before each meeting, if we as board members have items to add to the agenda, to please reach out to the superintendent or to our chair, which is our board president, to have said items added to the agenda so that if there's items that need to be discussed or further research needs to be done, it gives both our treasurer and our superintendent the opportunity to have an answer so that when we do bring these elements to the community, they not only are brought up, but they can be answered in that moment. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, and I'd like to add to that, in addition to that, what it is that I bring things to the agenda. I send an email of what the topics are. No one here on the board wants to hear them because they always think that things are confrontational. They want us to have backyard conversations, call the superintendent, call the treasurer, ask the questions, so when I get the answer, you and the community have no idea what was said, you don't see our emails, you don't hear our conversations. So this is a way that every meeting, we have an additional policy that someone wants to create to stop me from speaking on behalf of students and parents. So they will sit here and they will tell you otherwise that that's not the case, but that is the case. Because as I was coming through the door, Mrs. Gator asked me, did I have parents come here today regarding the Cowboys? I can tell anybody in this district, in community otherwise, anybody is more than welcome to come to express your thought, your concern, your happiness, your sadness, whatever. And as a community and taxpayer, they don't want to hear your voice now, but they will want to hear your voice if they want to levy pass next year for a bond to build new buildings. So thank you for your comments.
All right. Now, I would like to continue. As Member Mitchell said, we are governed by policy. Policy is a general written statement by the governing board which defines its expectations or position on a particular matter. So we're going by policy. And in terms of how we conduct business, 0165-1 clearly states that the board shall transact business according to the agenda prepared by the superintendent and submitted to all board members in advance of the meeting. The order of business may be altered and items added at any meeting by a majority vote of the members present. No individual board member shall bring up new business, and what you're requesting is new business at a meeting of the board unless the member has presented the new business to the superintendent. So let me just ask you,
Okay.
the 6 items that you listed, have you discussed those with the superintendent?
Those have been discussed, Ms. Gator, since February. There's nothing that I want to discuss is considered new business. Nothing, period. Now, what the people in the audience want to discuss, I have nothing to do with.
Okay.
What I'm wanting to discuss is old business that has been lingering out here since February.
All right, so what I'm going to tell you is it's not old business. So at this point, because we need to move on with the agenda, we are going by board policy. Would you like to make a motion to add your 6 items? You can do it one by one, to the agenda.
You guys can do whatever you want to do, because one way or the other, my points will get across.
Is
It will
is
get out
that
to
a
the
yes or a
community.
no then?
It will get out, so.
I'm asking you to make a
can add,
motion.
if you guys choose to and not afraid to hear what I have to say,
Okay.
you guys are more than welcome to vote on, or however you want to do it, parent involvement, which has been lingering since July, programs since February, unanswered questions from prior meetings since February, and policy. We
Okay,
can
so
discuss
at
those.
this
Madam,
point,
Madam
I'd like
Chair,
to
I'd like to speak. On
I-
behalf, I'd like to speak.
Go right ahead, and then I would like to move on with
Okay,
the
no
agenda,
problem.
please.
On behalf of everybody here in this district, we're trying to move forward, and I understand you, Board Member Elba, and we hear your concerns. It's just a way that we do it properly, and we can get it answered. I'm not trying to hold you back or anybody in this community. I love Warrensville. I'm from Warrensville. I bleed blue and gold. Mr. Jolly's doing the best he can. If you have a problem with them or the district or any other parent, our ears and doors are open at any time. You can reach me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So I don't want to say, oh, we got to deal with this. We're going to deal with what we got to deal with to better these scholars. So I'm for anything you have to say, but just the proper channels of going through how you got to do it is what I'm saying.
Okay,
That's all I'm saying.
you know what, Mr. Freeman, and I appreciate that, but here's the thing. Everything that I want to talk about is not bad. You all
Okay.
just assume that it's bad, but
No.
everything
No.
that I want to talk
No.
about, Mr. Freeman, is not bad. So I do appreciate your point, because for the most part, you have been supportive of things that I wanted to talk about. So if you guys want to vote, make a motion, I put them out there what they are.
All right, so I'm asking for a motion. If nobody wants to make a motion, then I would like to ask for an approval of item 1.4, approval of the agenda. Does anyone want to make a motion to add these items? If not, I'm asking for a motion to approve the agenda as is.
Madam Chair, I move that we accept the items that Member Elba noted, items 1 through 6, that we accept them as a motion to be discussed and added to this agenda.
Do I have a second?
I'm seconding it.
Okay. That's the proper way to do it. If you have items that need to be added, then you have to make a motion. So I thank you for making the motion. Do we have any other discussion about item 1.4? Dr. Rock, would you please call the roll?
Ms. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mrs. Moomin,
Yes.
Mrs. Elba,
Yes.
Mr. Freeman,
Yes.
Mrs. Gator.
Yes, motion passed 5-0. These 6 items will be discussed under unfinished business. And that is going to be down on,
7 point.
hold on. We'll add it under as 7.5 unfinished business. All right, item 1.5 is public participation. You have cards?
Yes.
So I did ask that if,
3 minutes.
because I know we've got a number of parents that are here, if they're all speaking about the same thing, to have one person to speak as a spokesperson. So I don't know who wants to come down and be the spokesperson.
You should let them all speak.
Let all of them speak?
I think you should.
Okay, all right, go ahead and call the first person. That's not the way the policy reads, but that's fine.
3 minutes.
Yes, we do allow 3 minutes. Dr. Wright, go ahead and call the first community member.
Rashid Gray.
And if you would, please state your name and your address. And Jonathan, please start the clock when they're ready. How are you, Coach Gray?
Thank you.
You.
Rashid, Coach Gray, 19304 Sunset Drive. Let me say this. I feel in some type of way because I've been supporting this board for like 14 years. Coming to the meetings, I never had to speak. But today I gotta speak because it's affecting the kids. I run a program out here, this is my 3rd year, called Warrensville Youth Sports. And it's for the babies. It's for the 3-year-olds all the way up to 6th, 7th grade. They have nothing to do out here. They never have. 14 years I've been out here, they never had nothing to do. And this program, we've been running out of Randallwood, a building that y'all not using. I heard about the cost and this and that. I talked to Mr. Jolly, I talked to Coach Swift, but at the end of the day, it's just like Ms. Elba said, when it comes to the parents and the kids of Warrensville Heights, sometimes you're gonna have to take one for the team, because these kids have nowhere to go. The high school uses the rec center all year round. It's another program, true basketball, they're using our gyms all year round. Our babies have nowhere to go.
Unfortunate.
In front of you is the original document where I was giving up the use of Randallwood back in February. And May, right before school ended, I got called over to the board and was told that it's going to be a $5,000 charge to use a building that we no longer use. That's when I started feeling some type of way. I spoke with Mr. Jolly, I talked to Swift several times. This program is needed out here. It's for boys and girls. My cheerleader coaches who are here today, they work with 3-year-old young girls. They teaching them, you know, cheerleader skills, like we get steps from Nikki or from the high school. My basketball coaches, just about my entire staff are Warrensville Heights alumni. That in itself should mean something. But to take a program like that and just push us out of the way, I mean, I could see if the building was being torn down, I can understand that. I can understand that very dearly. But we have nowhere else to go. Like I said, for 14 years, baby never had nowhere to go. Nobody never said nothing. I'm saying something tonight. We gotta have somewhere for these kids to go. I was talking to Mr. Jolly tonight. If we don't find somewhere to go with these kids, some of our 8-, 9-year-old kids who come here from Cleveland, they're gonna end up in the system. I guarantee y'all that. I ask for y'all support tonight because I have supported y'all. I have supported this district. I have supported this community for 14 years. So that's all I have to say, but I just hope y'all honor my permit. Okay, I was scheduled to get the permit. I'm supposed to start September the 14th.
Okay,
All right,
thank you. No, I think you should.
No, I just wanted to, I met with you today. We supposed to meet Monday. I did tell you we were honored the program. I told you that today.
Yes.
It's unfortunate that you didn't relay that to the people, because I did tell you we were going to honor the program. I didn't make any promises to you. We have other issues that we're dealing with, but I did share with you today. I had meetings set up with you yesterday, today. Yesterday you didn't show. Then today I saw you, went and talked to you personally, and we set it up for Monday. It's unfortunate. I told you that we were honored the program, though. I did. So I shared that with you today, didn't I, Coach Gray? So
I did say that.
I did.
Here's the situation. I will say this in front of everybody. The rec is okay. I got nowhere to put my cheerleaders.
So I have a question for you, if I may. You mentioned students from Cleveland. So are these Warrensville students?
Warrensville is getting a lot of students moving here from Cleveland.
Oh, I misunderstood that. Okay.
We're getting students moving here from the Cleveland area. I don't know if y'all realize it in the school. Some of these kids have some issues going on.
I want to say, I don't deny that. I said we were honored the program. I told you that today. I said we were honored the program. We met last week with Ms. Elba. We got the information. We took the information, and we coming up with a plan to honor the program. The program will not end. I share that with the community. It will not end.
Thank you.
Next.
Now, hold on 1 minute. I did hear you say the program will not end.
And I do want
We'll
to,
be doing a new,
yeah, but I want to talk about the board policy too, because in the policy, there's charges for everybody. I don't know what happened in the past, they weren't charging people. So the policy states, if you're a level 1, that means you're a school, we don't charge for custodian. If you're a level 2 or 3, you get charged for 2, you get charged for custodian. Level 3, you get charged custodial and rental fee. In order to be considered a level 2, you have to have 60% students who go to Warrensville schools. So we need evidence that these organizations are 60% Warrensville students. Number 2, the cost of running the building is $100,000 to run Randallwood with nobody in it. That's $100,000 to run it a year. We are looking at all our options to ensure that the programs can maintain, but also the community hold me to be fiscally responsible for its money. Also, I'll talk about the football too. They wouldn't even let the football team use the field until last year, until I went to the board and asked the board to allow them to use the football field because the cost of regenerating the football field was on the board. So we had to charge for the football because we got to pay people to come and do the field. Again, we're here to work with the families and communities to ensure, but again, the school district got costs too. We are a business. We have to maintain and ensure that we can maintain what we do, but we're trying to accommodate and let people use our facilities. Our goal is to let people use the facilities. There was on board policy last year, no use of the football field. And we changed the policy to allow the football to be, but it's a cost. So we're not trying to eliminate no programs. We want the programs. I'm all for all programs. But again, it's a cost to them. And even in this situation, it was free last year. We did eat. We ate the money. We ate it last year. We ate it. And this year, again, you got the permit. We have to honor the permit. But it might not be in the same location. We can't promise where it's going to be, but it might not be in the same location.
I have a question.
hold on 1 minute, please. One more second, and then we're going to let the next person speak.
See, it might not be in the same location. My question is, they should have known beforehand before they signed that contract.
So let me just say this. First off, this is a facility that you're using at no charge.
Right.
You're using it in a building that we're going to be tearing down in the very near future. So I can't, and Mr. Jolly can't guarantee you that you're going to be able to continue to use this building for a program, at no charge, when it's not physically responsible for us to keep this building open. We have to pay for custodians, we have to pay for people to open it. There's a charge, and I understand that these are, I'm assuming the majority of these students are Warrensville students,
Yes.
but we have some that are not Warrensville students as well, right?
Charter schools.
Okay, so, when we're talking strictly Warrensville students, that's one thing. I would love to be able to accommodate all students, but no, we're not going to tell you, Coach Gray, that we can guarantee you that you're going to be able to use Randallwood when it's a building that is going to be tore down in the very near future. We will accommodate you. Now, I'm looking at this form, and it says 150 students. So is that, in any given night, you've got 150 students that are coming into the rec center?
Not the rec center.
No,
If we switch it to the rec center, how many students would you say that you have on any given day?
A good 100.
Okay, so let me ask you another question then. Because I really don't know what the program is. I know there's cheerleaders. We really don't know what this program is.
Here's my question. I know my time is up. We've been out here 3 years. Why come the board don't know about us?
Well, probably because on Fridays, there's football games. I mean, that's not fair to ask, Coach.
I know.
What I'm saying is,
I know about it. I know about it. I do. So I know about it.
the business guy signed it. He the one signed it.
Nobody denying that. Nobody denying it. We're not denying that. We're not gonna charge you. There's no charge this year. No charge.
My whole thing is, as long as the kids got somewhere to go, that will hold the whole program.
I'm going to say this. As a board, I think that we need to really take a look at this. I understand that there's students that are involved. 150 students is a lot. I want to make sure that we understand exactly what this program is, how many parents are there helping out with the students. I mean, we're going to have questions, Coach Gray. So when you meet with Mr. Jolly, we'll be sure to get those questions addressed, okay?
150 students. I got a good 8 cheerleader coaches, 5 boy basketball coaches. Never had a problem. Never had a problem at Randerwood. I understand about y'all gonna close Randerwood, but I just think this contract in that location should be happy. Should be
If the
honored.
building is going to be torn down, Coach Gray, we'll have to discuss what other options we have, okay? So we appreciate your comments. You have a meeting with Mr. Jolly.
On Monday,
On
4
Monday.
o'clock.
So
time is it?
we
4
will
o'clock.
hear what the meeting, you know, he'll share with the board the results of your meeting.
All right, thank you, Ms. Gaines.
Thank
Okay,
you.
I still have a question. You said it costs $100,000 to run Randerwood. Is, the lights and gas are already on, correct? So regardless if anyone's in it, we still paying the lights and the gas, correct?
Yeah, no, we're not, no, that's extra light and gas because it's out all day. The lights and gas are out all day. So they come on, the lights for sure are on when they're not supposed to be on.
No. What I'm saying is,
No, when
If
you
they don't
use, when
disconnect
you use
them.
it more, it goes up more.
I understand it, but they don't disconnect the services
Uh-uh.
because nobody's not in the building.
No.
Okay. I'd like to see a copy of the bill if it's $100,000.
Here it is right here. It's 92,937. It's right there.
No, I want to see the copy from the,
Okay.
from the actual gas and light company is what I'd like to see, but thank you. I appreciate
Okay.
it. I appreciate it, thank
Yep.
you.
All right.
Let's go.
Can we have the next card, please?
Tina Phrygian? Sorry if I mispronounced that.
Let's see.
And it's Tina Pridgeon. Address is 24515 Barrymore Lane. And that's Warrensville
Okay.
Heights. I'm here to talk about our kids. I am a coach for the cheerleaders, Warrensville Heights Cheerleaders Cowboys, first year for the 7 and 8 squads. Our girls, we work very hard. A lot of us have, jobs, kids. All 3 of my kids go to all 3 schools, Eastwood, high school, and a middle school. My daughter is a cheerleader. We practice at Eastwood. We've been outside. It's starting to get cold. We're starting to wonder why, if our kids go to Eastwood, my daughter goes to Eastwood, why we can't use that building. And we're practicing outside.
It hasn't been brought to us about Eastwood. Mr. Fogme, have you heard anything about them wanting to use Eastwood inside? Has it been a permit put in? Okay. Who put in the permit? Who did you give it to? Oh. Okay, I'll follow up with tomorrow, and we'll call you tomorrow. Okay.
Is this the same program as Coach Gray, or is this a different program?
This is a different program.
Do you know when you turned it in? Okay. Okay, I'll take it. All right.
And we also need to know why our kids and our program is not supported by Warrensville.
May I ask who you brought your program to?
Well, from our,
I'm not familiar with the program.
well, they've been actually an organization for a couple of years now. That's interesting to know.
But the question is, who did you bring your program to? I guess I really don't know what the program is, who are they cheering for? So, I mean, there is a process for things to be supported by the district. You want to bring it to the attention of the superintendent, or if it's something that you're doing, say, out of Eastwood, bring it to the attention of the principal. And then that's how you ultimately get the support. But we
Well,
don't know
the
about
principal
these
board
things.
that we've been out there. He comes out there on a regular basis and sees us out there.
He's new, so maybe he wasn't aware that this is
So-
a board-approved program.
So
He needs to get to
I'd
the
just like to know
superintendent.
who's in charge so we can set a meeting up. Okay, so we'll set it up and see how we can support the cheerleaders. I don't see any issue with us supporting the cheerleaders. We just gotta know how. That's it.
Okay. That's all we want. We just want the support of the whole community for our children that actually go to these schools, for them to have somewhere to go.
And it's important. I mean, this is what we want as well.
It's
But
what is
again,
the
we
Warrensville
have to know,
Cowboys.
you know, what's going on, and you've got to get your information. We appreciate it.
Okay.
Okay? Next card, and can you pass those cards over?
Yes. Derek James.
Okay. Mr. James, come on down, please. State your name and your address.
I'm Derek James. I'm the president of the Warrensville Cowboys. I'm a Cleveland resident. I stay at 4141 East 154. But our program been in Warrensville for 9 years. I done spoke to Mr. Jolly. We a nonprofit. You know, the community help fund our team. We ain't got no sponsors. The cheerleaders are part of us. Coach Gray coached from one of my teams. These kids mean a lot to us. We've been out here. And we used the high school field. This is the second year. We sat down and agreed that the cost wouldn't be over $400, but it went to $5, and we paid it all last year. Now it went up to $6. I just want to know what it's going to be set at, because we strapped for cash. We can't keep going up every time they feel like going up on the price, and these for the kids. We got a lot of Warrensville kids that play for our team. We done sent a lot of them to the high school and the middle school. 85% of that middle school team is our kids. 90% of the high school kids are our kids out there on that field. And we just want some support, or just let us be at one set price. It can't be every time y'all feel like raising the price. Then I call, we'll get back to you. It's a lot of we'll get back to you. We for the kids, y'all supposed to be for the kids. We're a community-based team. We don't want to have to leave Warrensville. But if we keep getting, taxed every week for something that we trying to use for the community, we ain't gonna have no choice. We ain't gonna have no choice. A lot of these parents, or my parents in here, they come support their kids every day at practice. It's cold outside. The cheerleaders can't go in the building to use the bathrooms. We ask for porta potties, no porta potties. We've been out there since July 5th in Eastwood. We just want to know what it's gonna be. It's gonna be one way, or it's gonna be another way. Long as we know, then we know how to prepare ourselves. That's all.
I do want to say, I think we need to have a meeting with the cheerleaders and you, with Mr. Faulkner and myself, and resolve it and see exactly where we're going to be.
But is we going to have a meeting, or is this
No,
going
it's
to
going to be, I'll be at the meeting. We're
going
going to have a meeting, whatever we say, we stand for it. We stand for it. I understand your concern. I do know about the price went up. There was additional cost of a custodian, which they put in the price. But we'll sit down, Mr. Faulkner, myself, and you, and whoever for the cheerleaders, and come up to a solution.
Right, we just want the kids, man. That's all. It ain't even about the price. It's about, is it going to be one way? It can't be $500 this year, $640 the next year. Then they charging me for an AV person that ain't never even coming. That's an extra $40.
So that's what we all going to hash out. What's the essentials for the game? Because it is a cost to us to host the game. It's a cost for us for everything.
Right, we understand that,
what
but
we'll do
it
is sit
change
down.
every week?
No, it won't change. We'll sit down there and hash it out. That's all I can say, and that's all we can do. Sit down and hash it out. So I'd like a representative of the cheerleaders and yourself. If I could meet y'all right outside, and we'll come up with a date and meet and get it resolved.
That's fine.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Can we do it now?
You don't, okay, so want us to wait just a minute? No. Do we have, more representatives that want to speak on behalf of the Cowboys or the cheerleaders, or is there some, you all want to speak? Or, is there something different that, okay. You have a card that you turned in?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, okay, all right.
Let me even,
Now, if you want to go ahead, what's your name, ma'am? Okay, go ahead and pull the card for me.
Wandra Juve, address 4780 Walford Road, number 1, Warrensville Heights. What I have to say is, I've been listening to what's going on. I had a different question, but you said because we're all together, we can only have one representative. My question is, We've been in this program for 2-3 years now. Why doesn't the board know about it?
Nobody-
What is the reason that you don't know about it? We've been in Randallwood. We've had games, competitions, everything. We've put in for permits for porta potties, for buildings. Why don't you know that there's an issue?
So,
We have kids that use the bathroom on themselves because we don't have a bathroom for them to use. We're outside Eastwood cheering and playing football practice, but you got grown men in the building playing basketball. They don't go to Eastwood, but our students do. Our cheerleaders and football players do. So what's the reason behind this? That's a lack of communication.
and that's exactly what it is, ma'am.
Is it?
As I mentioned to Coach Gray, you've got to present these things to the board. We
Okay,
have people.
okay, like she said, there was, now, last year and the year before, I was just a coach, but this year I am more involved. Okay, there were permits done, there were permits denied, there were prices. It's ridiculous. You want us to pay $5,000-$6,000. We're nonprofit. We need to go to Florida for a competition. We have to raise that money ourselves.
So
I have two
again,
cheerleaders.
I'm sorry.
So I have to pay $500 for each child, $500 for me. That's got to come out of my pocket because we are a nonprofit organization. Why don't you know about this?
Can I address that? I just want to address it
Go right
on
ahead.
my behalf. I'm new to this board. I've heard of it. I don't know what y'all do. No one has ever brought to me. I'm Warrensville.
Okay.
I'm from this community.
Okay, you're
I
new
walk
to
the
it.
Right. I walk
You
it.
know about it. Why didn't you
From
come
what
and
they-
find out?
So let me.
How would I know about it? How would I know?
You just said you knew of it.
Of
If you
it.
know of it, it's in your district.
I didn't- no,
It
no,
had
no,
to be
hold
of
on, hold on.
some importance to you.
I got you. But I didn't know it was affiliated with
So
us.
here's the thing, and that's
Right. I didn't know it was
that's
affiliated with us.
We have plenty of people.
It's called Warrensville.
Ma'am.
So it's
Wait,
affiliated with
Ray,
it.
give me a minute, please. I need to get this back under control. So there is a process to bring things to the district if you want the district to support.
And
it.
as far as we follow
have-
that process.
1 minute, ma'am. We have so many other organizations that come and just want to use the facility. They're not asking for support. So if you're just asking to use the facility, if it's approved, then we let you use the facility. But if what you're asking is for the district to support your program, you need to bring that
I'm not aware that
program-
we asked for a building.
Okay, so, and we're
We're a
giving you a
nonprofit.
building, but now what we're hearing is you're looking for support from the district. And we would love to support you, but you have to bring your program to us. You have to tell us what your program is. You have to tell us how we can support you.
So at this-
Nobody has ever done that before. They've only asked to use the facility. We're not saying we don't want to support our students. We're saying you need to let us know what kind of support you need. That's all I'm saying, ma'am,
Okay, so,
okay?
but what rang in my ears was you said you don't know about it.
I don't know about
We
it.
knew that Coach Gray had requested to use the facility, it was basketball, but honestly, it probably wasn't done the right way, because if he was doing a formal program and calling it Warrensville anything, it should have come to the board. So that's our
We
fault.
didn't rely on Gray for this year Cowboys.
I'm,
we had
no,
someone
that's
to-
okay, Coach Gray, we're gonna have to
We
move
had
on.
someone we had the person in charge to fill the permit out herself,
Okay.
and everything was denied.
So again.
That's what I
if,
have to say.
Everything was denied? Did you just say everything was denied?
Yeah.
So we're meeting about him on
Okay.
Friday at 10.
All right, so let me just say this, if we have additional parents that want to discuss the situation with the Cowboys and the cheerleaders, we understand your concerns. There's gonna be a meeting set up with Mr. Jolly, and the cheerleading coach, as well as the gentleman that's in charge of the football team. Let him work through this. Let him decide what the program is, and let him bring this program to the board for a final approval. But again, we're gonna be looking for, for a really good understanding of what this program is and how we can support it. That's all we're asking,
Okay.
okay?
And
I just wanna
all I
say-
have to say is, you should have known by now.
I just want to say one thing.
Again, it has to come to us.
I just want to say one thing. I know of the Cowboys have been around. If you guys remember, and anybody who rides past John Dewey and Eastwood, those are the kids that's out there playing the football. I'm sure you know, you've seen it when they ride past and you see the kids out there cheering at the John Dewey field and playing the football at the John Dewey field. Those were the kids there. And if anyone else remembers that there was another football squad over at Eastwood many years ago, because Mr. and Mrs. Edwards used to run that one over there. It's the same program, exactly. So it's been around for a while, because probably 7 or 8 years ago, Mr. and Mrs. Edwards used to coach it. That's Kim Edwards and Ronald Edwards. They coached it over at Eastwood. Then you had, over at John Dewey, you had the same teams. We had a different team over there. So they've been around in the district. For whatever reason, they just moved from John Dewey to Eastwood. I don't know whatever happened with that, but they have been around. I've seen them around. They have been doing things in this district for a long time that I know of.
But again, Member Elba, nobody has come to us to say, just let me finish, and we're gonna let these parents say what they need to say. Nobody has come to this board and said, we need your support. All that they've said is, we want to use the facility. So we hear them loud and clear. They're asking for support. We, as a board, are going to allow those individuals to meet with the superintendent to find out how we can support them, and allow him to bring a recommendation to this board about how we can support them.
Wonderful.
So,
Now,
thank you.
will
Now,
that be,
I need
I have a
to
question.
allow this
Is that
parent-
going to be an email, or are you going to come back to the community
no.
and let these people know?
You're out of order. Come on, ma'am. Yeah, no, no. You're being flipped,
I don't
okay?
like this. This is not
Go
professional.
right ahead, ma'am. State your name, please.
Hi, Felicia Ridgeway, 19708 Kings Highway, Warrensville Heights, Ohio. Resident for over 40 years here. Family attended Warrensville School, and I'm here for 2 groups. And it's so sad we don't have a lot of other parents to support us. Well, I'm here for the bullies and the people and the children that's being bullied. They have programs. I'm really here for the children that's doing the bullying, because it's so sad. You turn the news on, 100 kids jumping on one little girl. Another channel, 100 kids jumping on a little boy. Instead of somebody helping, they're helping fight them instead of helping save them. You know, we have programs here that some of the parents don't know. I'm really here for the bullies, because evidently something is going on in their homes, church, school. I'm not counting nobody out. The library, the streets, mainly the streets, I think it is. You know, we have programs here. I don't know if Murders Taylor is still here, Beachbrook or something. My child's been bullied from kindergarten up to the 12th grade. This is her last year. I've been asking the school to get a bullying class. They're so busy, the head person so busy walking me, have her security guards walk me out. The head lady in charge walk me out, and I don't disrespect no teachers, no head staff, nobody. All I'm doing, and you got cameras, pull the camera. Ask them to pull the camera. I'm talking nicely, respectful to the staff. Next thing I know, in front of my child and the students, head lady having her men walk me out of here. I set up meetings with her. I went to the Board of Education for them to set up meetings with her. When I get there, she cancels on me. She cancels the meeting and sends somebody else. Sometimes she don't send nobody. We're gonna have to cancel because the state is here. Oh, well, that's good. Can I sit in on her and the state? We need help. For you all that don't know about these programs, I don't know if it's Murders Taylor still here or Beachbrook. For your children that you have no control of, a couple of parents say they have no control over their child. They cuss them out. They come here and cuss the staff out. What is that about? What happened to old school? They say they can't do nothing. Why can't you do something? Sit them at home and let them be homeschooled if they don't want to get the help here from Beachbrook, Murders Taylor, and I don't know who else it is. This is a problem here. I went to the juvenile court. The bullying is a big issue. If your parents don't know it, you need to get down there. I brought paperwork out and passed it to the staff, because you can't pass it to the students, to the counselors. I don't know if the parents received it or not about this bullying, but this is serious business. Children are dying.
Thank you very much.
I'll talk to Ms. McDowell.
Next part.
Andrea Mitchell.
Welcome, Councilman Mitchell. Councilwoman Mitchell. I apologize.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I heard a lot, and I see a lot of parents and a lot of children here tonight, and I think it's wonderful. There's a couple things I walked in the door and I wanted to share, and I think it's no better time but now. I'm a council person for Eastwood, for the middle school, and for the high school. So there are 3 schools that are in my ward. I had a meeting on September 24th, and I had a lot of residents that came out. They got a chance to meet the new principal, and I wanted to come to the meeting to say, well done. I have not seen that school run as well since I was in that school. I attended Eastwood from pre-kindergarten to 4th grade. And I have not seen it run as well since I was in that school, and I'll be celebrating my 30th year next year out of high school from Warrensville. When I hear people talk about, oh, well, they don't support us, you see us, you can see a lot of things. I see cars going behind Eastwood all the time. I live across the street. I don't know what's going over there. And by myself, I wasn't going to walk and find out. Okay? I go to the games, I see the gorgeous little cheerleaders, little cowboy cheerleaders, I love them. They look amazing. I see the little football players running around. It makes our school and our games intergenerational, and I love it. And I saw my residents come out. We were all sitting in a bunch at the Bedford game. It was exciting. They hadn't been to a game since their children were in school. It's an exciting atmosphere. But let's get this right. There's a protocol for everything. Just because you do it and it happens all the time doesn't mean it was done the right way. We have to do things the right way. I went on a trip, yeah, it was a gambling trip, with Brush. They have a little football team that's comparable to the Cowboys. It's a nonprofit, separate from the school district. We met at the school and went on the trip because my friend's little boy plays with the team. It is known that it's separate from the school district. They pay to use the property. They run the operation separately, and they pay for every single thing that they do. A friend of mine was a coach a long time with the Warriors in Cleveland. They pay for everything they did. It's a separate nonprofit. I teach communication. When you don't speak and follow protocol, we have to talk to each other to get things done. We can't just presume just because it's been that way for 14 years, for 20 years, that why not now? Because it never. I didn't know what was going on. In council last month, I had a resident speak and say, there was some cars and trucks pulled up toward my backyard and they were barbecuing and just tell me, and they asked the mayor what was going on. I didn't know what was going on. I live across the street. We need to communicate. The support sounds like it's there, which is head and above of what's going on in Maple. A friend of mine has a son that plays in Maple. They can't play on certain properties. We have to communicate. Just because you see it doesn't mean that you know it. I think we're in a great place and we need to work together. And I think we could get a lot done. I'm not going to take any more time. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, the next card, while they're coming down, I'll just kind of piggyback off of what she said, and it spins off of what I said earlier. There is a protocol, there's a right way to do things, and unfortunately, we did not know that support was needed from the district. So go ahead and call the next one.
The first name begins with a Y, and it's Salim. Sorry, I don't.
Hi, I'm Yasmin Salim. My address is 20500 Halifax Road. I'm a Warrensville alumni. Went to Warrensville from kindergarten to 12th grade. Graduated in 09. I came across the Warrensville Cowboys because my nephew, who is at the high school playing now, he played for them. And then once I got out of school, a few years later, I decided I wanted to be a coach. I ended up becoming the director of it. I just want to know, basically, a lot of my questions has been answered as far as why we were not allowed in the school or why we were denied porta potties. But for these girls to be, my youngest is 4. I have 2 4-year-olds. I take them usually at any age that they can comprehend. And I feel like the support that I want to ask for is for it to be more known in the district that we're here. Because if I can take these girls, which remind you, I was a cheerleader. I cheered for Nikki, the coach there now. So I know everything she would want. I know everything she would need from a girl. If I can have the support to get it in the schools, to tell them we're here, and for those girls to start with me at 4, just think about where they're going to be when they become a senior or, a freshman. and to be able to cheer for her, and we could keep this building. We went to Nikki competitions. We took our girls far away and went and saw them win first. The girls loved it. The majority of my girls are Warrensville, or go to Warrensville. So all I'm asking for is a little bit more support. Yes, we do need the buildings. Yes, it hurted me that I had to stop practice, or I had girls that urinated on themselves because they didn't have nowhere to go to the bathroom, or they told me too late, you know? So that was my only concern. This year was not the first year that I asked for help. I asked for help last year. I went and they told me to go to Miss Dudley, fill out, which she was the principal at John Dewey at the time. I went to her. I know her very well. My daughter goes there. I used to always be up there and just sit up there for hours, so I know her. She filled out the form. We faxed it over like they asked. I never heard nothing back. I went back a week later. She said, I'll send it again and do a whole nother one because she lost it. Never heard anything back. My sister went up to the board. They said that they never received anything. So it was a back and forth thing of going back and forth trying to figure out how could we get these girls inside this building. So last year was John Dewey. This year was Eastwood. So my thing is just, as a community, if we can work together and build these young men and these young girls up, and then they'll become great, even better once they get to the high school levels, and we can build our school system up. I love what has been going on. I see change. I really see change in Warrensville, a lot. And if I could be a part of that, I want to be a part of that. But I can't be a part of that if I can't get support from the district. And that's just where I'm at with it. I'm going to meet with Jolly. We're going to get some things figured out. So that's just really all I have. No, it was another thing. Oh, my. It was something else. Oh, far as,
Just as long as you know, I'm going to ask you to make this one pretty quick because we've been doing this for quite a while.
okay, it's fine.
Just 3 minutes.
I have a question I wanted to be answered as well, too. We are going to participate in homecoming night, and they were told that each person had to pay $1. $1 is very cheap. Yes, it is. But as of right now, like my other coach said, we're going to Florida. Money is so tight for us. It's really tight, and we can go down there and really put one for Warrensville.
How many?
And, like, really show.
I just want to ask, how many students is it?
How many girls do I have? 26.
Don't worry about it. I'll take care of it
Thank you.
myself. Swell,
Thank you.
I'll pay it.
How much is it?
$26. I got it.
You have another card, Dr. Rock?
Mina Salim? Dorothy Blackman?
She's right in front here. How are you, Mrs. Blackman? Good.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Dorothy Blackman, 19213 Wickfield Avenue. Going to switch up a little bit. My concern is our state standing and the test scores. I feel, and this is my own personal opinion, that because of the fact that we have so many special needs students and their test scores count, I don't see how we're going to get off the bottom. I would like this board to consider an alternative school so that we can separate these students. When you have a classroom that has more than 5 special needs students in it, they're disruptive and there is no learning taking place. These students need to be educated at their own level so that our other students can move forward. This should be an easy process. I would like us to, this board, and I've already done my research, look at the top 10 schools in the state of Ohio and find out how many of those school districts are actually educating special needs students. I'm not saying Warrensville needs to abandon these students. I just think that we need to separate them so that they can learn at their own level. No. My other concern is we have had in the past a backpack program and a winter jacket program. I want to make sure that our students whose families are in need are still able to get this food to go home with these students every weekend, and that our students have the winter jackets that they need so that they are not cold? Who is in charge of these two programs since we lost our counselor at John Dewey School? And I'd also like to know, do we have a policy on open enrollment? I'm hearing that a lot, and I'd like to know, do we have a policy on the books for open enrollment? That's a question I would also like an answer to, as well as, are our students at John Dewey and Eastwood being able to use our planetarium? The money that was invested in it, is it just sitting there, or are we getting some benefit from it for our students? Thank you.
All right, thank you. I'm going to ask Mr. Jolly to
Yeah,
respond to what he can.
Yeah, I just wanted to address the backpack program. That's a partnership with University Hospital. We did speak to them this week, and we hopefully it can be started implemented in the next couple weeks. So we did follow up with them about that. The planetarium, Mr. Jenkins is scheduling all schools into the planetarium, so every classroom should be scheduled in there, part of a rotation that he's existing. The rest of the questions I will get back, we'll announce them at the next board meeting, or I'll get back to you personally.
Did you capture those three? That was the policy on open enrollment and the planetarium? Was
Yeah,
there
I
another
answered
one? We're good
Yeah.
with that one. Policy for enrollment, open enrollment? I know we don't have open enrollment.
But I'll get the policy and share what I know.
All right, so that's the only one that we need to get back with her on, is about the open enrollment policy.
Yes.
Mr. Jolly did a very thorough review, and he went over it at the last board meeting, and I think, did you review it at the senior meeting too?
No, I
or
didn't go over
not
the
that
top
in depth?
10,
Okay.
but I will
So-
share it with you. Yeah, it'll be part of it.
All right. All right, the next part, please, Dr. Rock.
Just call the last name.
Nakia Jones?
Oh. I
I
had her come.
welcome.
Welcome. Whatever.
Hello.
Hello.
I said I was on
Name
council, I
and your
came.
address, please.
Nakaya Jones, 13133 Berry Boulevard. Not only am I a resident here, I have 3 children that attend Warrensville Heights High School, the middle school, and John Dewey. My son's a senior, he's graduating with a 4.3 GPA, so Warrensville is not stupid by far. He's a captain of the band. I'm real active with my son. My only concern is this, and you guys know if you call me, I'm there. If you need me, I'm there. I'm having an issue with my daughter. My daughter is real timid. She acts like my son Falon. If y'all know Falon, that's what she acts like. She's having an issue on the bus with the bus driver. I did speak to the bus driver supervisor, and in speaking to several parents, this woman has complaints on her this thick. When I go to the bus to get my 6-year-old off the bus and she's crying, and the bus driver hasn't even asked her, why are you crying? That's a concern to me, because there's no way that I'm gonna allow, as a police officer, one of your children to walk past me crying and I'm not gonna ask her what's wrong. So when I addressed it and I asked my daughter what was wrong, she said somebody took something off her book bag. She's not a fighter. When I went to address the bus driver, she became very nasty and disrespectful. First of all, I'm a police officer, I'm in uniform. I would never, ever get into an argument or a shouting match with her on the bus with those children on the bus, because those are like my children. So I went and I spoke to her supervisor. He said he was gonna look into it, and I kind of let it go. Then she had another issue with a young lady on the bus, and my mother-in-law went to talk to her. I said, maybe we're just not meshing. She did the same thing to her. The little girl drug my daughter's book bag through the water, so it's a bullying thing. And then after that, she threatened to smack her in the face. She told my mother-in-law, well, I didn't see it, so I can't do anything about it. That's an issue for me. When I bring my daughter to put her on the bus, I feel like her safety should be the bus driver's concern. Every child's safety should be the bus driver's concern. If you come to me and address something with your child with me, I'm gonna make sure that your child makes it home safely. Period. You have my word on that. Or we gonna sit down, we gonna come to some kind of happy medium. So my thing is, how do we address that? How do I address that?
I'm a mother first. So I'm, you know, I don't want to come out of, you know, so I'm saying this is an issue for me. So, and I know if it's being done to me, like I said, this bus driver has complaints I've already heard like this. So what do we do about that? I don't want to see anybody lose their jobs. But this is serious. What if somebody's child gets hurt on this bus? Then it's going to be looked at. You guys knew she had complaints. Nobody did anything. It makes the board look bad. And you guys may not even be aware of it. So like I said, you know I got y'all back, whatever. But this is an issue. I just want to know how do we handle it. The bullying thing, you start a program, I'm there. I'll come volunteer my time. I'll come speak, whatever. I always do it. I'm always I do it all the time. I go and speak. So you guys need me, I'm there.
Okay, Miss Officer Jones, I'm gonna have Miss Hunt come speak to you with Mr. Black. They'll come now and address it.
Mr. Black is the supervisor, just so you know, for the bus garage, for bus drivers, okay? Okay. Thank you very much. Another one?
Yes. Last card. Tiffany Fisher.
So Ms. Fisher is a board member from East Cleveland. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Tiffany.
Oh, you're very welcome. Good evening to the community. Good evening to your board president, Ms. Gator, to the rest of the board, to your superintendent, Mr. Jolly, and your treasurer, Dr. Rod. I'm here not because I was asked to come here. I felt that as being a neighboring school district, I should come and just brag about everything you guys do. I mean, it's not common that I would know each and every last one of you guys. I mean, this board and this whole Warrensville group, I mean, exemplifies this community very well when they come and travel. I've seen them in several places, board leadership, CUBE, NSBA, OSBA, and they usually come as a whole group. And I get jealous, I'm telling you, I really get jealous because there's not a lot of boards that come with their treasurer and their superintendent to make the district shine. They also come and they ask questions. Board president, you ask lots of questions, and I'm so happy to see what you're doing tonight. I mean, the way you're carrying on this meeting. Another thing I want to address is I'm also a member of Ohio School Board Association's Black Caucus, which is your top public school entity in Ohio, and it's the Black Caucus part. Board member Mitchell is a member there, and also our newest member, board member Elba has been coming, and she brought up something which was to get the students to do some of our centerpieces along with Mansfield School District. I'm very thankful of that. I know that it's a collective thing going on with that. I also want to say I represent all of Northeast Ohio region for student achievement leadership. Your band is just like, wow right now. I mean, they're traveling. I'm watching you guys. I mean, and other people are there watching as well. I came to one of your events. What I want to say about that also is the school report card. Oh my goodness. And I know I only got a few minutes. The state report card is only one component of what your child learns to be successful in the future. Do not let what the state is saying hinder your beliefs on how your children are being taught in this district. I apologize. They learn, like I said, the band, there's academics, there's sports, there's all kinds of things. You have to know that the governor, and this is my opinion, the governor does not really want the public schools here in Ohio. Okay, first of all. Number two, there's testing that is pretty much unfair. For the last 3 years, you have OAA 1 year, you go to Park the next year. This year we're on air, and they say you got to make that totally computerized pretty much. We don't even know if we have bandwidth in our district that we're working on right now. But I just want to say, Board President Mimi, I'm sorry, I call her Mimi, great job on this collective vision that you set out for your district. And also, lastly, I'm sorry, I was looking at Board Vice President Freeman. The OSBA Journal magazine came out. It's a nice sized journal, and he was noted as cum laude for supporting public schools with the kids pack, and that's very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming out and speaking on behalf of the board and everything that's been going on. So thank you so much, Member Fisher. Is that it?
Yes.
All right, so we heard a lot of discussion tonight. Some things that we'll probably need to address as a board, but first, especially when it comes to the Cowboys and the cheerleaders, I would, as I mentioned before, like for you to address it and bring a recommendation to the board on how we can support them. So again, I want to thank everybody for coming out and expressing your concerns. So at this time, we want to move right along with our agenda. This is an informational meeting, which means this is the board's opportunity to ask questions about the items that we'll be voting on at the next meeting on October 27th. So we're going to move right along to item number 2, which is the treasurer's report and financial recommendations. Dr. Rock, I'm going to give you the floor so that you can address those 2 items listed under your section.
Thank you. Every October and May, every school district in Ohio is required to file a 5-year forecast with the Ohio Department of Education, and we're working on that now. On Monday, our Audit and Finance Committee will meet to review that in depth, and then that'll be presented to the board for approval at the official meeting on October 27th.
All right.
And then the other part of news is just a quick update on our investments. Our investments this month, just at Star Ohio alone, our investment income was $11,623. Now, why is that number important? Well, it's because last year, for the whole year, our interest was $8,051. So we made more in interest in 1 month than we did all of last year. And year to date, we're at $19,086. So this was a great move for us to open up the Star Ohio account at Star Ohio. And the rate actually notched up a little bit when we signed up. It was 5.52, now it's 0.59. So the higher that goes, the more interest revenue we can get.
Okay. All right.
The other items I had would be when we do the review of Q. So I'll keep those until then.
Okay. All right. That sounds good.
That completes my section.
Okay. Before we proceed, since Mr. Jolly's not here, ma'am, I know you're here to talk about the job fair. Would okay.
Yeah, there's 15 of them that'll be coming.
Thank you, Member Elba.
Of course,
Thank
anytime.
you very much. All right, so item number 3. Superintendent's recommendations and presentations for board action certified staff. Mr. Jolly, you have the floor. There's a couple of items that we do need to vote on, though.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. We need to ask the board to vote on 3.1. This is our extended day for our middle school. Will be paid out of Title I. Our teachers, and this is going toward our Ohio, our testing. They're targeting 50 students who are below grade level based on the Ohio state test, and also our progress monitoring that we're doing with NWA and our biweekly assessments. In this program, for these teachers to participate, they all agreed to communicate with the parents their progress via phone calls and monthly updates. Transportation and snacks will be provided to the scholars. It's being paid out of Title I. 3.2 is the extended day credit recovery coordinator. This is for Mr. Jenkins. The program was approved last month. And Mr. Jenkins, we didn't have a coordinator, but Mr. Jenkins did come on board to assist with that. 3.3 is the retirement of Ms. Denise Edwards, effective at the end of the school year, and Ms. Olivia Rusher, which is effective on October 3rd. 3.4 is the employment of special education specialists paid out of IDEA funds, so this is a grant-funded position. As I shared when we did the reorganization, we have over close to 400 students on IEPs and located in 21 different places. This position is to support the special ed director It is a year-to-year based on grant funding position. 3.5 is lateral salary changes. These are people who have earned credits and laterally moved on the salary scale per the WEA contract. As noted, you see where they started and where they moved up to. 3.7 is the supplemental non-coaching. These are our technology liaisons and student council for the middle and high school, and our middle school student council. Again, this is part of the contract. Part of CBA also is the supplemental coaching assistant football. Mr. Rancourt, a middle school math teacher here for the middle school program.
All right, thank you very much. So we've got a couple of items that you're asking for votes on. It looks like 3.1
And 3.2.
and 3.2. So I would like to ask for a motion to accept both of those items. May I please have a motion?
Madam Chair, I move that this board approve number 3 on the agenda, superintendent's recommendation and presentation for board action certified staff, 3.1 employment and 3.2 employment.
May I have a second?
I second.
It's been properly moved by Member Freeman and second by Member Mitchell. This time I'd like to open the floor up for discussion. Does anyone have any questions about any of these employment items? Hearing none, Dr. Rock, would you please call the roll?
Mrs. Moomin,
Yes.
Mrs. Elba,
Yes.
Ms. Mitchell,
Yes.
Mr. Freeman,
Yes.
Mrs. Gator.
Yes, motion passed 5-0. Item number 4 is, again, superintendent recommendations and presentations for board action classified staff. Superintendent Jolly, go right ahead. You have the floor.
Yes, 4.1, I'll be asking the board to accept the resignation of Security Officer Kareem Malone. 4.2 is I asked the board to accept the determination of Officer Myron Newell. 4.3 is the employment of substitute food service, Jacqueline Sistrunk, to provide sub-pools and adequate coverage in the event of absence. We are short. Again, this past week I did assist with serving due to people being absent. 4.4 is the reclassification of two clerks. Jackie simply moved them up in position. They're not part of the OPSI, so she has the authority to move them into those positions. So the cooks are not part of OPSI. The assistant cooks are not part of OPSI. So she simply moved them up from within. 4.5 is the employment of a truancy officer to replace Arnett Sanders at a rate of $20 per hour at 32 hours a week, not to exceed $20,000. Henry Alexander is a retired teacher from the district. The interview team believes his knowledge of the district, parents, and community will make him an asset as the resource officer. 4.6 is the employment of 2 security officers who are currently serving as our substitute officers. Both have been filling as substitutes. I do know there was some concern about one of the officers' record. I will assure you that their record is clean and is clean. Both have records have been clean, and I wanted to share that with the board. 4.7 is substitute paraprofessional. Again, this is to build our pools, to ensure we have adequate coverage. 4.8 is the hiring of 2 substitute bus drivers. Again, we have none in our pool of bus drivers, and these 2 individuals will allow us to have coverage in the event of absences. In the event of absences.
All right, and none of these items you're asking for vote today?
No.
Okay. Board members, since this is an informational meeting, does anyone have any questions about any of these items that we will be voting on at the next meeting? My hope is that at the next meeting, we will be able to do this as a consent agenda. So again, this is your opportunity to ask questions.
Madam Chair, I do have a question for Superintendent Jolly on 4.5. When did Mr. Saunders retire?
Mr. Sanders resigned, Ms. Rudolph, when is it? Middle of September? Middle of September.
Okay. And when will Mr. Alexander take hold of his position? Is it on here?
It will begin after it is voted on the
Okay.
27th, on the 31st.
Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions or comments?
I have a question.
Yes,
Are
ma'am?
any of these employees, alumni, or friends?
I wouldn't know if they're friends. I do know Curtis Blockson is an alumni of the district. I do know that. But again, he has served as a substitute in our district, and with 2 open positions, Chief Heady simply promoted our 2 substitutes.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Hearing, we don't need to do roll call. Let's move right on to item number 5, Superintendent's recommendations and presentations for personnel and programs. You have the floor,
Yeah, so
Superintendent.
5.1 is the program. The other one we did was the teachers to work the program, which is the middle school extended day. 5.2 is a special one, which we will need a vote on, which is for the Perspective Academy. We had one of our scholars who we're responsible for, who had who had an incident that we did not have a relationship with another entity that could deal with that need. As the district, the responsible district, the hospital released this young person to this place, so we're responsible for covering the cost of the services, educational services while they're attending this academy. This is the first time we had a case like this, but it's a very particular case. And we would need a vote on 5.2, 5.1, 5.2. 5.3 is a trip out of town. This is to approve our marching band to go to North Carolina A&T to participate in the homecoming. The band is using their funds. The band had fundraised the funds, and this is a self-paid trip. Great experience for them to have the experience to be at a HBCU homecoming, and it give them opportunities for scholarships. Currently, our band director, I'm sorry, his mind is getting, Mr. Keaton, has students at Central State playing in the band, Kentucky State playing in the band. It's a great opportunity for our students to have this experience. 5.4 is the purchase of 2 new school buses. And Dr. Rock can speak, and Mr. Faulkner and Mr. Black, we can speak if there's more questions, they can speak more to it. But currently, we have 6 buses that are way beyond the replacement schedule. We will use the permanent improvement funds, and then Dr. Rock has set up a system that we will replace a bus a year after these initial 2. Currently, our buses, we only have 1 bus that is really road worthy, that can go far distances. We bought a spare bus last year to try to fill the gaps. So this purchase would be for 2 new buses, and to try to get our bus fleet up to standard. Is anything you want to add, Mr.?
Yes, Mr. Black checked with the Ohio Department of Education and, OSBA, Pete Japitsky, and that's like the biggest name in transportation. They recommend that once a bus hits 12 years old or older, that you should utilize that as a spare and not have it on the road. So just like Mr. Jolly said, we have 6 buses that are 12 years old or older. There's, I think 3 of them are 13 years old, right? Yeah, so right now about half of the buses, half of the 15 buses that we have, half of them are over 10 years old. So we have to get onto a replacement schedule. And we have the funds in permanent improvement. That's a perfect match for permanent improvement funds to pay for.
All right, the next is 5.5 is a resolution affirming the suspension of an individual student who went through the appeal process with Ms. Rudolph. 5.6 is also, again, modifying the suspension which went through the process with Ms. Rudolph. 5.7 is the literacy cooperative, and this is to amend the agreement, which will increase the program. Initially, it was approved for $4,000, but we are adding an additional site coordinator, which costs $1,000, which again will assist in the training of our students and the implementation of the program. 5.8 is the Partners of Success and Innovation. This is to provide TESOL services effective this school year. It's an increase of about $5,000 due to the hours increasing from 35 hours to 38 hours. 5.9 is the Partners of Success, PSI. This is for students who we're responsible for but attend charter, who use the charter, go to charter schools or Catholic schools, who have been identified for tutoring services. So these schools have picked this vendor, which is part PSI, to provide the service. 5.10 is the same, and this school chose this vendor, Community of Saints School, as the vendor to provide those services for students who don't attend our district. 5.11 is an addendum to LGCA, and this is to increase our bandwidth, as Ms. Fisher stated, to ensure that we can properly have enough bandwidth so that when we have to give the online test that we have enough bandwidth to provide it. LGCA is our A site, so that's why we go with LGCA. 5.12 is High Schools that Work. Warrensville has been in partnership with High Schools that Work, I believe, for 3 to 4 years. This is a national program that provides technical assistance and coaching services to support the high school building improvement plan. It's research-based professional development, and it helps the high school formulate the implementation of the program. It is again on the Title I, our school improvement funds. An agreement is attached. 5.13 is College Now, and this is to amend the contract. We increased the contract days to 30 days instead of 25 to ensure that we are able to provide the necessary opportunities for our scholars. That concludes.
All right, so again, we have 5.1, 5.2, 5.3, correct? Those are the only ones that you're asking for a vote on today?
5.4.
Yeah, 5.1, 2, 3.
Purchase of the buses.
Are we doing the?
No,
it's not
we're
highlighted.
not doing the
I didn't
no.
think so. Okay. All right.
1, 2, and 3.
So may I please have a motion to accept items 5.1, 5.2, and 5.3?
Madam Chair, I move that this board approve on the agenda superintendent's recommendation and presentation for personnel and programs, 5.1 program, 5.2 agreement, and 5.3 field trip.
May I have a second? Been properly moved by Member Freeman and properly second by Member Mitchell. Any questions or comments about any of the items? Well, first, let me just ask if there's any questions or items about questions or comments about the items that we're going to vote on. Any questions or comments?
I have a
Hearing
question.
none. I'm sorry, about one of the items that we're getting ready to vote on?
Yeah.
Okay.
How is this going to be disseminated to these parents to know that these programs were just approved? Now I'm talking about the field trip. But you said you have a mental health program. Is this for everyone or is this just for one child?
No, it's for one child. It's not for everyone.
So is there anything on the horizon for other children? Because we got plenty of other kids that have some form of mental health
Right.
disability.
Yes, I just met with someone today, and we're looking at programs to assist that. When I have a program that's ready, I will bring it to the board.
Okay, any other questions on items 5.1 through 5.3? Hearing none, Dr. Rock, would you please call the roll?
Mrs. Elba,
Yes.
Miss Mitchell, Mrs. Moomin,
Yes.
Mr. Freeman,
Yes.
Mrs. Gator.
Yes, motion passed 5-0. Now I'd like to ask if board members have any questions on items 5.4 through 5.13. Any questions or comments?
I do have a question, Mr. Jolly, for 5.13, the amendment for College Now. You just extended it 30 days, you said?
No, 5.
5 days?
5 days. It was 25 days. It's extended.
I know, it's 30 days, don't
to
it?
30,
Yeah.
yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? All right, we're going to move right along to item number 6. Do not have any committee reports. So we'll go on to 6.2. Portable air conditioners for the district. This is something that was brought up at the last meeting, so it does qualify as unfinished business. Mr. Jolly, I don't know if you want to
I can give up.
presentation, or if you would like Mr. Folkman to do it.
Yeah, Mr. Fogmore or myself, either. Yeah, you could.
So we're just looking for an update on what it would take to provide portable air conditioners at John Dewey, Eastwood, and the middle school to alleviate some of the heat once the weather changes.
Certainly.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
We had Ernie Electric, who has been our electrician for forever, come out and give us estimates, working estimates on what it would cost to put portable air conditioners in windows at John Dewey and Eastwood. Not portable, window air conditioners at John Dewey and Eastwood. And we also had him assess what it would cost to put global portable air conditioners. These are ones that are inside the room, and then they vent the air out through the window through a tube, hot air. And I have for you a summary of the costs for each unit. Thank you. First of all, we asked Ernie to assess the existing electrical service to each of those 3 buildings.
Oh.
To make a determination about whether there was sufficient power to power these air conditioners, or whether we would have to increase the electrical service to the building. In the case of the window air conditioners, which is the second and third page, the electrical service was adequate to support window air conditioners. In the case of portable air conditioners, Mr. Ernie said that we would have to increase the electrical to support the additional units, and that would cost another $29,000. So that's why you see a total cost of $120,876 for the portable air conditioners that are inside the room, versus $66,429.99 at the John Dewey, and $49,008.15 at Eastwood. Those are the 3 options. The reason we considered portable air conditioners was because in order to install window air conditioners, certainly at John Dewey and most probably at Eastwood, we would have to support the windows. We'd have to build some kind of support, or otherwise the air conditioner weight would probably break the windows. So that's why we had to do that. We wanted to avoid having to do that, and the only thing we'll have to do with a portable air conditioner is cut a circular hole in the glass that will take the hot air exit tube. So I guess it's not surprising that buildings are getting hot. You consider that Eastwood was built in 1953, John Dewey in 1956, and the middle school starting in 1949. So at that time, there was no concern about temperature, but there certainly is. As school years have gotten longer, we get into 2 seasons where there's excessive heat. One in the fall, which we all know about, and again in the spring. So that concludes my report.
Okay.
I have a question.
Go right ahead. But I'm going to ask board members, if you would please let me know that there's a right way to ask your question.
Mr. Folkman, did you say that it's the electrical system was not adequate?
No, Ernie determined that the electrical system was not adequate to support the global portable air conditioners, the ones in the room.
Okay.
They take more power.
Okay, but the letter says that the Windows ones are adequate, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Are you done, Member Elba?
We probably need to get a estimate of the middle school, which we did not do, to see. The middle school does have areas that air. One area in particular, where the music room is, there's air there. Well, we need to, before we bring a recommendation to the board, we will include the middle school into that, into the estimate.
Yep, the only thing that Ernie's assessment took note of was 57 classrooms. So I don't know about the other public areas.
So we did for the window units. We only did John Dewey and Eastwood. We didn't do the middle school, but for the
That's correct.
So
we'll round that off.
Yeah, we got to do that
as
one.
well.
Mhm.
Sure.
But to do the portable air conditioners, that's for the entire district. I mean, for the three buildings.
That's for the middle school, Eastwood, and John Dewey. That
Gotcha.
is
So,
correct.
honestly, it's probably going to be more cost effective to go portable air conditioners is what it's looking like. All right, but, again, this is just an estimate, and board, what we will end up doing is waiting for Mr. Jolly to bring a recommendation to us. We know that we're going to be getting new buildings. We're keeping our fingers crossed. We're going to be getting new buildings in the near future. So we really have to ask ourselves, is this an expense that we want to take on now? I guess it depends on how long before we get the buildings. 2-3 years, this might not be a bad expense, as far as making it a conducive environment for students to learn in. I think it would be well worth it. But again, we'll wait for your recommendation on how to proceed. Does anyone else have any other questions about this quote?
Madam Chair, I do like to address our business affair. Mr. Folkman, on our Building and Grounds Committee, and we walked through all of these buildings, you said the ampage would have to be raised for all of the two buildings, Eastwood and John Dewey?
The amperage would have to be raised for all three buildings in the case of the portable air conditioner.
Okay.
But in the case of just the two window air conditioners in Eastwood and John Dewey, Ernie felt that the electric was sufficient.
Okay, and then
Existing electrical system.
and for the portables, we have room to actually install something like that? I know we looked at we have room to install something like that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Yes, indeed.
Board members, any other questions? All right, let's move right on to item 6.3, Teen Summit and Family Feast. Again, I did put this down as unfinished business because this was something that Danielle Smiley spoke about at the last meeting. And at the last meeting, she made a plea to the board to help with a financial aspect of it. So I did reach out to Danielle and ask her exactly what it was that she needed. She was still trying to put some stuff together, but I would like to ask Dr. Rock to kind of speak to how we can help them financially. I know that she was saying that we might need, they might be looking for help with catering. So what would be the best way for her to get the assistance through the district?
The first step is, and I've requested this from her, is for her to come to me to meet so we could review the budget and I could help her come up with a financial proposal. So we could look at that first, see where we're at with the numbers, and then bring that to the board.
So, I'm sorry?
Thank you.
So she's going to meet with you. Now, when you're talking about the budget, are you talking about establishing a specific budget for the parent liaison position, or do they have a budget already?
A budget for her function.
For her function?
For the function,
Okay.
this event.
Okay.
Just to see.
Just for this event, okay. So I guess the ultimate question is going to be, are there going to be other events for her? Do we potentially need to look at really establishing a budget?
I think some of her events could be paid out of Title I. So as the parent liaison, she does have Title I funds available to her. So I think at that meeting, they could kind of hash out what could come out of Title I and if she needs some additional money to support her programs.
So then as far as the board is concerned, we don't need to be involved in this anymore, because what I'm hearing is you're going to meet with her to make sure that whatever additional assistance she needs, she will get.
Yes.
Correct? Okay, so then the other thing, thank you. The other thing that I wanted to bring up is, it's the Teen Summit. The Teen Summit is the one that she said she was doing for 8 weeks straight. And I'd kind of like to ask the board members if you would be interested in providing some type of support with board presence there. I'm not saying all 5 board members to show up, but maybe if we could rotate, since it is for 8 weeks, to at least have 2 board members there. We could come up with a schedule. Again, just to make sure that there's board presence, to show some support. So does anyone want to have discussion about that and open to it? You figure there's 5 of us, so we could each take, 4 weeks, 5 weeks apiece. So any concerns with trying to come up with a calendar for board members to be there?
I've been working with Ms. Smiley, so I'm already going to be at the first one because she is going to have Officer Jones and Dr. Pudger at the first one. So I had already told her that I was going to be there because I've been working with her on this since July. So I'll be at the first one.
Okay, all right, that's good.
Does she have the dates already scheduled?
They're going to be on Saturday.
It's Saturdays, yeah. She said starting Saturdays. What is it starting? October 22nd?
Whatever the last
I think it's the
Saturday
22nd.
22nd?
No, that's homecoming Saturday.
Oh, she's starting on the 29th. So the last one started on the 22nd, but because it's homecoming, she didn't want to conflict with that.
All right.
29th?
You know, where it gets sticky for us is if we have 3 board members there and we're discussing board business, then it's considered a meeting. That's the only reason why I said 2 board members. Although, you know, there's plenty of times when we go to other functions and we're not, like, we'll all be at the State of the Schools address. So if member Elba's going to be at the first one, one other person can go, and we can at least have 2 people there. That way, we're not all tying up our Saturdays, but I do think it's important. So let's maybe get a schedule going.
And what time? What time? Do you have the time?
I'll reach out to Danielle and
Okay,
get the
I'll-
actual time. Is it
From 9
9
to
o'clock?
what?
So we'll get
What- From 9 to what?
make sure we've got board presence there.
Number 12. Thank you.
All right. Any questions or comments about the Teen Summit and Family Feast? No?
For me.
All right. So first reading of new bylaw. This is the one on board protocol. So we kind of missed this one at the last meeting. We should have added it. This is the protocol that member Mitchell worked on. So again, we're just doing a first reading on this board protocol, and just kind of want to open it up to see if anybody has any questions about it. Would you pass that? No questions. So again, just so the community understands, the first one is basically saying.
This it? It says 9.
Is that not it? The first one is stating that before addressing a subject during a board meeting, board members must request the board president or superintendent place the subject on the board's agenda for that meeting prior to its occurrence. That is in line with our board policy, and that policy is located again in 0165.1. What we're basically saying, in short, is no surprises. Number 2 says communication between board members and district staff shall occur through the superintendent. Any personnel complaints received by the board or individual board members shall be referred to the superintendent. And this is an important one, because quite often, you will have parents that reach out to you or staff with concerns about something. As board members, we don't want to hold on to those things. We don't get involved in day-to-day activities. You really want to forward that to the superintendent or the treasurer and let them handle it. Does anyone have any questions about that? No, it's very similar to the situation that happened today with all of the parents that were here. Had we have known, that there was all of these complaints, then more than likely Mr. Jolly could have reached out to these parents ahead of time and, saved them a trip. We encourage people to come to the meetings and speak, but we do want to try and handle stuff before someone feels as though they have to come to a meeting. And I'm not going to read all of these. This will just be the first reading. I'll do the first 4, and then we'll finish up with the remaining ones the next meeting. The next one is the district administration shall in good faith support and implement the policies, procedures, and resolutions adopted by the board. And then the last one says, the board and the administration shall continually review the district's policy manual policy manual for effectiveness, and shall revise, remove, and create policies as deemed necessary by the board and in accordance with the law. The board and the administration shall strive to implement board policy consistently. And this is something that at some point, board, we're going to need to maybe set aside a work session and really just kind of go through policy and see what needs to be updated. It was just recently done, as a matter of fact, with Mrs. Blackman when she was on the board, but there's still some things, as we've seen, that need to be updated. So again, I'm just going to read the first 4. This is the first reading. We will do the final 4 for the second reading at the next meeting, and then we will ask me. All right.
Didn't take a vote on
No, we don't take a vote.
Oh, okay.
No. All right. So now we're coming to new business, division of updated or revised bylaw. So again, this is on 0.165. And this is something that was brought up previously at a meeting. But it was brought up a while ago, so we're adding this back on as new business. And what was mentioned is referring to item number C on this policy. And that is the fact that before it stated that the agenda for each regular meeting would be mailed or delivered to each board member. And that is not what we do anymore, because we have board docs. It's available via board docs as a draft. And it's available at least 1 week prior to the scheduled meeting through board docs. So I'd like to ask you all to just kind of take a look at how that's worded. Mr. Jolly's office helped with getting rewording this policy, but we do need to update it, both C and D, so that it reflects the way that we are currently doing business. Does anyone have any questions or comments about that?
Madam Chair, I just see one question with C.
Mm-hmm.
The agenda for special meetings shall be available, and then be at least 24 hours before the meeting has been struck. So do you want that to remain? Because we would need to say how long that would, how long before the meeting would need to be available.
The agenda, you're referring to the last sentence there, the agenda for a special meeting shall be available.
We need to put a time frame.
So the way we do it now, the agenda is live 24 hours prior, at least 24 hours prior to. Dr. Rock, what's your thought on that? The agenda for a special meeting shall be available. Is there anything in sunshine laws or anything that states we have to do it by a certain time frame?
No, it's board policy by board discretion.
So let me take a look and see. agenda for special meetings shall be available. What does the board like? What would you all, I'm open for suggestions.
Can we just leave it as it stands, at least 24 hours before the meeting?
I'm good with that. Does anyone have any
I'm good with
concerns
that.
about that? Member Elba? No?
24 is fine.
All right. And then what about under D? The board shall transact business according to the agenda prepared by this. This is important. The board shall transact business according to the agenda prepared by the superintendent and is available via board docs for all board members 1 week prior of the meeting. The order of the business may be altered, I mentioned this earlier, and items added at any meeting by a majority vote of the members present. No individual board member shall bring up new business at a meeting of the board unless the member has presented the new business to the superintendent to be put on the agenda at least 2 days prior to the meeting. So first, I want to make sure that everybody is clear with that. What that's saying, again, is no surprises. And again, if you have something that you want to add to the agenda, you need to talk to Mr. Jolly. All right, Member Elba, I know that you quite often have things that need to be added, but you got to start having conversations with Mr. Jolly.
All the time.
That's not what I'm hearing.
Communication.
So let me also say this. When you're sending your things that need to be added, I don't think that it's enough to simply say facilities. I think that the fair thing to do would be to say, I have a concern about use of facilities and the form, or I have a concern about, the educational process as it pertains to the middle school. And it would also help if we let him know if this is your individual concern, or is this something that a parent brought to you? Because if it's something that a parent or a staff member brought to you, again, it goes back to staff communication or board communication, and you pass that off to the superintendent. We don't hold on to those things. There's no reason for us to hold on to it. So I just want to make sure that everybody's very clear with that. We have policies in place to help us have our meetings run smoothly. There's no reason for us to constantly have to ask to have things added by majority vote. So I just want to make sure that everybody is clear with that. We want our meetings to run smoothly. And then there's one other thing I want to point out, and I'm sorry to take up everybody's time, but we got to start getting these meetings right. The agenda of the regular meetings, and this is number B, the agenda of the regular monthly meeting or special meetings shall be accompanied by a report from the superintendent on information relating to the district with such recommendations as he or she shall make. Mr. Jolly does that every week, just so everybody knows that he is absolutely following policy. Once the agenda is done, when he sends out his weekly update, he is telling us why he's making the recommendations that he's making. That is your opportunity, board members, to reach out to him either by email or by telephone. I've called him on a Saturday and he takes my phone call. He does not mind talking to any of us any given day of the week about anything that's going on.
Well, I just have a question. Okay. You calling him on a Saturday to ask a question. Who else knew about the question? What was the question? How am I going to know what the question is if you don't bring it to a public meeting? This is what I consider backyard conversations. And we go to these conferences, and yes, they encourage you to reach out to your treasurer and superintendent if you have a question, but how do I know this lady don't have that same question? Wait, excuse me, wait a minute. How do I know that anybody else out here doesn't have the same question? So if you constantly have these one-on-ones, you answer the question, but it's never brought out, you're just having a meeting with us. You're not reaching out. These are all public meetings, which means that everything that we discuss, if everybody keeps talking about transparency, then be transparent. Have the conversation, sure, in an email, but then bring it to a board meeting and say what it is.
Okay, and I understand what you're saying. I'm going to let Member Mitchell go first. You bring up somewhat of a good point. but communication is definitely a problem with this board. So go right ahead.
If I may, Madam Chair, thank you. If we have questions about, and I can only speak for myself, when I've had questions about items that have been on Mr. Jolly's Sunday morning updates, I have gone and asked him, and after I've asked, he has sent an email back to the board with clarity. He's added more information. So I'm not sure how you feel that questions that are being asked are not, they may not come back to you that member such and such asked this question, but he does come back and provide clarity. So at that point, it's semantics. If you were to ask him a question and he answers you, but he answers the board in providing more clarity on whatever topic was addressed. And as far as the community and questions that we're asking about his weekly report, or Dr. Rock's weekly report, again, most of that information is going to be conveyed at one of the board meetings, either the informational or the regular meeting. So the community does have an opportunity to hear exactly what he has, or what they are sharing with us in their updates.
And you know what, Ms. Mitchell, and I get that, but that doesn't happen all the time. It doesn't. We have a lot of conversations on emails. We have a whole lot. And many of them do not come back. And that's what I get frustrated with you guys, is because I'm saying old business. I asked about programs in February. I asked the question, how many programs do we have? Who are they benefiting? When are they starting? When are they stopping? It is now October. I have not heard hi, here, or anything about it. So when I get frustrated, yes, I'm bringing it to a meeting because the question came in a public meeting. I was told we'll get back to the board. I looked through every email from February to now, and I haven't seen anything. So you constantly keep saying communication. Communication is a two-way street, and that goes for any and everybody. No, you may not like the way I present things, and that's just my tone, and that's just me. I do work on that, you know. I'm a work in progress, but through the church, through God. Yes, I am. However, you have to be able to communicate things, because here's what I say. Those Sunday emails, Monday emails, whatever, they're all considered public record. Once you hit that send button, they're a public record. So if you have a question and you email it to him, I don't see anybody's questions. I don't see any reply to all as a question for anything. So maybe I'm missing that. You know, I don't want to say I'm not getting it, but maybe I'm missing it, because I have never seen a reply to all question. I've seen, thank you, Mr. Jolly, thank you, Dr. Rock, great job, whomever, but I've never seen a question.
Well, I'll be honest with you, Member Elba, I stopped doing, with the few times I do have a question, I pretty much pick up the phone and I ask him. And I stopped replying to all, because you have an issue when we try to have a conversation that is just information seeking, that is not seeking opinions. We're just seeking clarity of information. So I don't do reply to all. Typically, I send them a text, or more than often, I just pick up the phone and call them.
But that's my whole point. You send them a text and you pick up the call.
Madam Chair.
You ask the question.
Okay, that's fine.
How
I'd
does
just
it
like
get
to say
back
one
to
thing.
everybody else? Is all I'm saying.
Okay, all right, so we're not going to beat this dead horse. I'm going to wrap this up in just a minute with some of my own concerns, but go ahead, Member Freeman.
Board Member Elba, a lot of times you have those questions, and as a board member, I would not go 8 or 9 months without having that answered by my superintendent. I have communication with Mr. Jolly on an ongoing basis. His door is always open. You can always go up there. I mean, sometimes I've been at the board, you've been at the board. I asked him, did he see you? He said no. So at the same regard that I'm at the board, you might have been walking in the board. His door's there. All you gotta do is say, knock, Mr. Jolly, do you have 10 minutes to talk to me? He can express all of the concerns. When any of us ask a question, I'm going to ask him the same question in front of public, in front of Ms. Blackman, whoever it is, because he's transparent. He's going to tell you how he's going to do it. If I go in with a notion that Mr. Jolly's not going to tell me, or he's keeping secrets, that's something that you got to deal with. I get the information I need, and I'll share it, and I call every single one of my board members every week just to say, how you doing? You okay? Barbara, everything okay? Do I do that, Ms. Muehlman?
Yes, you do.
Every day.
So the communication, and it's just not you. I mean, we got to work. It is a work in progress. I'm new. I'm green. But one thing I know is that my superintendent is going to do what I need him to do. And if you got a concern, he's going to answer it. And if he don't have the answer, like Ms. Black Mass, he's going to get the answer. So you just got to work with him. You just can't have a preconceived notion. He don't want to.
I don't have a,
what are you going to do?
I don't have a preconceived notion about anyone.
Okay,
I just want
that's
stuff
fine.
asked and answered in public. That's
All right,
it.
So let me kind of wrap this up a little bit, and I guess I'm about to put this off my chest. As you all know, as a board, our job is to govern. We oversee. Superintendent and the treasurer administers things. Our main focus is going to be on the end results, but we got to free ourselves up of the unnecessary, time-consuming administrative details and follow the established policies that we're sworn to uphold. A lot of times when we get, and I'll be real honest, Member Elba, emails from you that say, I want to discuss policy, I have a million and one questions about an expense report. We don't know if this is an administrative issue or if this is something different. So at the end of the day, we don't need to engage in deep discussion or debate about operational issues such as expense reports. This can be accomplished by having discussions with Mr. Jolly or Dr. Rock and passing the torch on all things that are not that are administrative functions. So we talked about being transparent. I want to be really transparent. Being a member or even a leader in any environment requires trust and fairness. Trust is what empowers our actions, and its presence or absence of it is crucial to our district functioning effectively. We are not as effective as we can be, Member Elba, because each week we're constantly accused by you of us doing something wrong. You stating, I'm going to copy the state auditor's office. Actually, you did copy the state auditor's office.
Yeah.
You threatened to contact the State Board of Education. You're constantly telling us what we're doing wrong. You've insulted and questioned our attorney. You've even done the same thing with our superintendent. He's giving you information in public meetings, and you blatantly disregarded his expertise on educational matters. Most recently, you filed a police report wrongfully claiming telephone harassment by a board member. In this report, you even claim that the content of that telephone call was not board-related, which is false. All communication with you is board business. There's no reason for us to, engage in anything personal because this is a business relationship. As a physical steward of this community, your actions continue to be a waste of taxpayers' time and money. You have to communicate with us. You really do. Even more important, your actions have nearly destroyed our trust of your intentions to be a productive member of this board. And I'm putting that out there, Michelle, because even with the incidents that happened today, that could have been avoided had you have, I'm not done, you have just communicated with us. I believe the remaining board members are doing everything that's possible to stay focused on all the things that are best for students. I believe that we're all doing that. Unfortunately, our progress is always hindered each time we have to guess what complaints or negativity you're going to bring to the meeting. We always have to chase our tails and say, oh God, what is she going to bring to the meeting today? We saw what you brought today. And so you see our concerns. Unfortunately, this is just, it's got to stop. Our mission is, our work is mission critical, and the community is relying on us to do the work that we were elected to do. So this is a plea to ask you to please work with us. Present your concerns to the superintendent, submit agenda items as directed by policy, or yield to your board for a majority vote to add items to the agenda. It's that simple.
Are you done?
I am done.
Okay. Well, I'm going to reply back to that. First of all, anybody can come to a parent meeting. Just because I know about it doesn't mean that you can't stop people from coming. And from what I see, you guys want people to come only if there's something positive to be said. So anybody in this audience can speak, good, bad, and whatever. I don't not trust anyone's decision up here. I'm going to question it, yes, but I don't do anything backyard. Anything that I'm going to do, I'm going to tell you that I'm going to do it. And as far as the board member harassing me, yes, it's a constant harassment. It's a constant harassment. You see one thing in a meeting and in an email, but you don't see anything else extra after it. If it was false, I would have never made the report. But I'm not stopping anybody's progress from being hindered. I'm only one board member with one vote. And you guys are going to vote however you're going to vote, when you're going to vote it, whatever. I'm not going to have any backyard conversations. And yes, when I do go to the board, I'm going strictly for one thing. If I'm going to the treasurer's office, I'm not going to stop by the superintendent's office. Everybody has a job to do. If there's something that I need to touch base with, just like I call the treasurer's office and say I'm coming, I'll call the superintendent's office and say that I'm coming. I've had several meetings with Mr. Jolly. I don't know if anybody's ever shared that. I've been meeting with Mr. Jolly ongoing with him and Ms. Smiley since July. And a lot of the things that Ms. Smiley is doing, I've been working with her on it. So it's not all negative. You just see what you want to see. That job fair that just took place, that those 15 parents that I did call and ask them to come, I was calling them to showcase them, to let you guys know and let everybody know the hard work that Ms. Smiley and I worked on from July until October. All the progress that was done to get students and parents from near and far a job, which they did. They got a job, an interview on the spot. We even had people from outside of Warrensville. Other school districts have come and applauded. We have had employers call us wanting us to do it again. So how dare anybody on this board sit here and say that I don't do anything positive for this district? I do positive, but you know what? What you do positive, I don't have to showcase it. As long as God above know what I'm doing, I don't care if Mimi Gator, Ray Freeman, Tracy Mitchell, Barbara Mooman, Jolly, or Dr. Rock knows, because I'm not here to showcase it for you. I'm here to help these kids and these parents, and that's exactly what I have been doing. So when I brought the stuff about the programs, yes, I'm trying to showcase those parents, and I wanted to thank those kids. Ms. Smiley and I went out, we did mock interviews. We taught those kids how to interview. We did resume writing. We took those kids out and bought them clothes. I didn't see anybody saying, can I get on board to help? No, they didn't. But excuse me, I'm talking. But I do want to thank Mrs. Blackman, Mrs. Councilwoman Howard, Miss Doris Hagwood. I do want to thank both of them because they did step up to the plate. They did help our kids in getting things accomplished. They did come out and they did support. I'm not saying that you guys would not support. I'm not saying that whatever, because everybody has their own life to live and you do as you please. However, I do want to commend Ms. Smiley. You know, you talk about negativity. We arranged, and I thank Mr. Jolly for arranging transportation, because the goal was to get those kids and parents transported from all buildings to Tri-C for a job fair. Yeah, there was a glitch in it with the busing, but it did happen. But it was very successful. Did I see anything about it? No. Did Ms. Smiley get commended? She got a line or a blurb. However, those are the things that we should be showcasing. We should be congratulating those kids for going to a workshop, willing to learn, going up to Tri-C, getting an interview on the spot, and being successful. That's what I'm here to showcase. Okay. So I don't know whatever else you guys are talking about, but I'm not the hindrance.
Thank you for your comments, and you brought up a really good point, and we're done with this. You invited parents to come so that we could acknowledge them, but you don't set the agenda, Member Elba. You should have let Mr. Jolly know that you were inviting, but you still need to let us know.
It's unfinished business.
All right, you need to let us know.
I told you in an email, that's
item 7.2, you have to start working with this. Item 7.2 is CUBE Conference, Equity Policy.
But excuse me, since we're still on it, and I don't want to waste anybody else's time.
We're not on it.
I have these parents and kids that I'm sure that they would like to be recognized and gone.
And we will do the recognition.
We'll recognize them.
But here's the thing, and I apologize, parents. We were not aware that you were coming until today. So
They weren't notified until today.
Okay, but you didn't let the board know. So unfortunately.
I sent you an email, Ms. Gator. I sent everybody an email. Everybody got the email, correct? Sure you did.
So at any rate, item 7.2, as soon as we finish with item number with section 7, we will honor these parents. And I apologize. This was not something that we knew was going to be happening. Item 7.2 is the CUBE Conference Equity Policy. As you all know, we attended the CUBE Conference in Miami, and this was all about equity. A lot of the districts have policies that deal specifically with equity. Now, for them, these are larger districts, a small district is anywhere up to 30,000 students, and of course, we're probably one of the smaller ones because we only have 1,600. So for them, equity typically means, equitable educational opportunities because of a more diverse community. That's not us. Equity for us, more so, is equity of resources in comparison to other districts. So my question to you, board members, is would you like to explore some type of equity policy? Do you think it's something that we need? Mr. Jolly, as policy, and you're the one that administers policy, is this something that you think that we need? But it is something that we learned at the conference, so I did want to at least bring it up.
So as we look at our district, our equity issues will exist between male and female, possibly, our special needs students and regular ed students. I do believe that we do our best to try to ensure that everyone has equal opportunities within our district. I would say that at this point, I think we do our best to treat all our students equal. But I think we do a good job at that at this point. We spend a lot of money to ensure our special needs students have services, and we've provided a lot of support for all students, using our title funds to ensure that everyone has literacy with our kindergarten and all the way up to the high school. So I would say, due to our demographics internally, equity is not a major issue because I think we pretty much address all our students and their needs. When you look at equity as you look at other larger districts who have different populations, who have more schools, which, money is allocated different based on the schools. But with us only having 4 schools and they're tiered by grade level, we pretty much give each grade level what they need. We could look at extracurricular activities, maybe for Eastwood, that's not equitable, but we're working on that. But I would say that we're okay with equity at this point.
Okay, all right. Well, it was something that was discussed at the CUBE conference, so I did want to put it out there for discussion. So is everyone okay with that? Because what I'm hearing is Mr. Jolly is saying equity is not something that we really need to be addressing at this point.
Right.
Okay, so because I know we've got guests here that we need to address, I'm going to ask that we table 7.3 CUBE conference discussion, move it to the next meeting, and that's where we discuss what we learned at the conference, because I would like to move this along. I do want to ask.
Can I really just say something?
Can you let me get through this section here, and then I definitely will let you, but I would like to also let these parents be acknowledged. 7.4, discussion of treasurer board designee to track unfinished business. This way we don't have to continually guess what's considered unfinished business. Dr. Rock, I would like to ask that at each meeting you keep track of what's identified as unfinished business from this meeting to carry over to the next meeting. In the event that you're not there, we will ask one of the board members to do it, okay? So, and then I will also ask that you just maybe email us with the items that you've identified, okay?
No problem.
All right. At this time, I would like to, you know what, Member Elvis, you go right ahead. The students that you've invited, go ahead and do the presentation, and we would definitely like to acknowledge them.
You might as well wait because one of them left out the room.
Yeah, we want to go get them.
She is? Yeah, but I know you here, sweetie. I was just gonna do you both together since everybody else did leave. But you know what? I'll just go ahead when he comes back in the room.
So it's 2?
Well, there was several, but many of them left. They said that they didn't want to be a part of it. They said that's okay. However, Miss Smiley and I did a career fair on October the 5th, and we started planning on this in July. The goal was to assist parents and students and anyone in the surrounding community with obtaining employment. We offered workshops on resume writing, mock interviews. We purchased clothing for some of the students and parents that were in need who did not have the appropriate interview clothing. It was a 2-day workshop. The day of the event, we provided transportation to get to Tri-C where the career fair was held. We had 26 employers there. They were all thoroughly impressed with all 15 of our students that did attend. It was mainly juniors that did attend. Not many seniors or sophomores did attend for whatever the reason. But they were impressed with their interviewing skills. They were impressed with the clothing that they had on. Students were very nervous, but because we had coached them on what to say, how to act, they were able to get through it. All of them walked away with an on-the-spot interview. And that was something to be commended. At that particular day, we found out that our information reached schools outside of this district. We had kids from Lutheran East. We had a few kids from Beechwood. We had a few kids from Berea, all over, just by word of mouth and by people trying to support us. We received numerous calls the day after our event from Job Corps, from YOU, wanting to be a part of the next job fair that we do because they thought it was something that they had never seen done before in any school district. The parents that did attend, they too got job offers. We left the job fair and went to Five Guys. Somehow Five Guys found out about the job fair that we just held. They gave us business cards and told us if we knew anybody that was looking for a job that was responsible to please come out. So I do want to acknowledge, because it seems that I'm wasting you guys' time and I don't want to waste your time, but I do want to commend Ms. Smiley for all her hard work that she did, Ronzel Clayton, Javon Johnson, Tiana Tate, Edmund Rucker, Kevin Prevost, Andre Walker, Sylvester Hamilton, Kaisha Tyree, Ashley Johnson, Gracie Phillips, and Miracle. You can please stand up, because I do want to commend them, because my intentions were to call their parents after the job fair to let them know how well of a job they did and how proud that they would have been of them. But because things were so hectic and a lot of things were going on, I apologize to each parent. I wasn't able to reach out to them until today. So some of them were able to come, some of them were not able to come. So I do just want to commend them, because those are the things that when we say we want to make a child holistic, that's one of those things that we try to do to make it holistic for them. So that was something that they strive for. That's something that they now have to work forward to. And we're going to continue to work with them to help them maintain the job, not only to get it, but to maintain it. So because of that, we do plan on working together and doing another one, because all of those employers have been emailing wanting to come back. So there is a plan to do another one in March, because a lot of them want to hire for the summer coming up.
Okay, so at this time, would you like to come and say something? You want to say a few words about your experience with the job fair?
Yes, sir.
I know I'm putting you on the spot. It's up to you.
Yeah,
Yes,
come on up.
please.
As she's coming, I have a question. Is it possible to do this before the summer and again before Christmas?
Actually, the one that we did last week was for Christmas, because a lot of employers like to hire now because they want to get them started for next month. Some of them did ask us to throw another one together like this month, but I mean, because it was just a lot of work and time consuming, I don't think we could have got it together again in such notice. So we did explain to them that we would do it again in March, because employers hire in March for June, and so they try to get you hired before the college kids come home.
Okay. Go right ahead, sweetie.
Amen.
Hi, everybody. Good.
Hi.
My name is Oriel Burpo. Well, she didn't call my name, but I just wanted to say thank you for giving me the opportunity for me to come to this program. But the first day I didn't come because I really didn't know about it. But the second day I tried. But I feel like I learned a lot of stuff that I didn't know about, and it made me become a better person, and hopefully I get the job next time, and I see what I can improve on. I just want to say thank you.
Thank you so much.
You don't like being put on the spot,
Good evening. My name is Edmund Rucker. I am on the the superintendent student council team. Thank you for Mr. Jolly for allowing me to be on the superintendent student council team. And I want to thank Ms. Elba for giving me the opportunity to get the job I got.
Oh, good.
And I would like to thank you for the workshops. I learned a lot that I didn't know about resumes and improving my resumes. So I'd just like to thank Ms. Gator as well. So thank you.
Who did you get your job with? Panera Bread. So we can come get a hookup?
Question. I will.
Do we have an opportunity to, I'm not sure who worked with you and Ms. Smiley with the workshops and all the preparation. Do we have an opportunity to expand that, to have others within the district come in and assist with that program?
Actually, you know what? We had 2 people at the job fair offer to come in. Towards Employment and YLU. They both have workshops and as well as Job Corps. And all 3 of them have asked if they can come back when we do the workshops in February to prepare for it. So we are going to contact them. I did explain to them that I would reach out to them at the beginning of the new year so we can start the workshops and collaborate together. The only thing is that we would probably have to find a space. I'm probably going to contact the library because other school districts want to be a part of it. And I don't want to have to go through any problems with trying to find a facility or a room big enough to accommodate not only our students, but surrounding kids. So, but yes, that.
I do want to say I attended. It was a great event. It was a lot of employers there, and our kids did a great job. Ms. Elba and Ms. Smiley was very professional, and it represented our district well. And our students did, and the whole setup was it was professional and outstanding.
Okay, all right. So we want to thank you, Member Elba, for your participation with the program. And I guess my only plea for the next time is to maybe let us know so that we can plan, we can incorporate the students coming to the meeting, giving them the opportunity to speak and present, and maybe even do something a little bit special for them. So, but thank you for your participation. Member Elba, you wanted, Member Moomin, you wanted to say something. I'm sorry to cut you off, and then we are through with this meeting.
Right, and I'm going to keep it short, guys. One thing that I did learn in that conference, and I'm going to just touch base with that for just one thing, is that it takes a village. We can't do this all by ourselves. At the beginning, it looked like we were all in conflict with each other. We should not be in conflict. Yes, Ms. Blackman, we got a 0. We got an F. But Mr. Jolly is working his best to fix that problem, and I hope we can do that. Community, listen, guys, we can't do this without the community. It's just simple as that. We need your engagement in educating our children, because they're exactly that, our children. We got to fix the problem. We also have a conflict with our board. When you find board members that not able to talk to each other, not want to speak to each other, we have some issues here. And I need the community to step up and help us. I'm new to this board. I never thought that we as a board member would get to the point where we can't talk to each other. I never thought that, but I'm witnessing that. I'm witnessing this every time we come in here. There's tension. There should not be. Our focus should be only on our children That's where our focus should be. Not this, you said this, the text this, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not interested in that. I call Mr. Jolly if I have a question, he answer it, and I move on to something else. The Pee Wee League goes back to my son. Goes back that far. I did not know. It is so important that the community is able to come in here, engage, make us aware of what they want us to do. The expectation. That's all I ask. What do you expect? Ms. Elba, thank you. That program you put on, excellent. Attitude, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not about that. I'm about helping children succeed, that's it.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Barb.
Dr. Rock, do we have any correspondence?
No.
All right, no correspondence. The only announcements that we have at this
Excuse me.
time.
One of our students would like to say something.
Oh, okay, come on. I'm sorry, I didn't realize that.
Okay, so I didn't get to say thank you, Ms. Gator and all the board members and Mr. Jolly for taking consideration about our dress code, because myself and other of my team members who did, it took a long time for us to make some changes to our dress code by adding the blue pants. We've been working on that for, let's just say, a year. And for y'all to take time to take in consideration for what students had to say. Thank you. And I would also like to say, well, just thank you.
I just, I'm going to encourage you, since you're part of the Superintendent's Advisory Committee, to keep communicating with him, things that you guys would like to see happen in the schools. You got the right one, so, and we're here to support him, so, thank you. Item 9.1 is upcoming meetings. October 27th, we have our next regular meeting. State of the Schools address is October
25th at 6:30 at South Point Hospital.
We definitely want everyone to come out, hear what the superintendent has to say about the future of this district and his hopes and dreams for the district. November 10th, we only have one meeting in the month of November and December, but our next meeting in November is the 10th, and then December 8th will be the final meeting for the year.
An announcement.
Make it quick, please. We're 2.5
The last
hours
announcement, we will be holding, per Mr. Jolly, the Historical Black College Fair here, and that's November 19th. It starts at 10 a.m. It'll be here all day with over 35 colleges, black colleges. So just want you guys to know.
Before we adjourn, I would like to just acknowledge some of the people here. We have Michael Booker here, who is City Council from Highland Hills. Warrensville Heights City School District and Highland Hills just completed a deal for a tax abatement. It was a pretty intense agreement, but we worked it out, and it's going to benefit both the district and the community. So we want to thank you. If you could just relay this.
Jean Smith.
Oh, I don't have my glasses on. Hey, Mrs. Smith, I'm sorry. Welcome. Jean Smith is here also from Highland Hills. And we want to thank you as well. So this is the president of Highland Hills, City Council, and vice president. And then from Warrensville, we have Andrea Mitchell. I don't have my glasses on. Anyone else here? Former board council person, right, Ms. Love? Danita Love is here. She's a former city council. And Dorothy Blackman is a former school board member, as is Mr. Merritt. And we have from Maple Heights City Schools, we have Rosalind Moore. She's a school board member for Maple. And of course, you met Tiffany Fisher. She's with East Cleveland. So I want to thank everybody for coming out. I know this was a long meeting. I promise we're going to do better at getting our meetings in and out in a decent time. And I want to thank you all for your continued support. At this time, can I please have a motion to adjourn?
Madam Chair, I move that this board adjourn the meeting tonight.
I second.
Thank you. It's been properly moved and second. May, will you
Gotta take the roll.